Our speaker today is Mr. John Metras, Associate Vice President of Facilities at UBC, and leads the strategic direction of the facilities on the UBC Vancouver campus. His portfolio contains building operations, energy and water service, and infrastructure development. John and his team have been involved in keeping the campus running on a daily basis. So really, if you're ever, or when you were on campus, or if you're on campus anytime now, what you touch on campus, be it in the public realm or in the buildings, John or his team have significant influence over, from an energy perspective, a cleaning perspective, a building maintenance perspective. So it's not a small role, and we all have, we all touch the work that John and his team do. John, over the last 20 years of experience in facilities and development and operations, he's been involved for that long, and he's been the managing director of infrastructure development and the director of plant operations as well prior to that time. John's played an integral role in helping UBC evolve into a global leader in sustainability, an area that's of particular passion to him. He's worked on a wide range of initiatives, including Campus as a Living Lab program, the 20-year sustainability strategy, LEED Platinum and LEED Gold certifications for many of our buildings. And for example, the development of Brock Commons, a tall wood building, which is a project that's very close to my heart as well. John tells me that one of his first construction projects, is interesting, I think, back in 1993, was an agricultural warehouse in a tiny village in the Rupanui Savannah region of Guyana in South America. At that time, he was with an NGO called Youth Challenge International, working with Indigenous communities to construct this much needed warehouse facility, and largely using local building materials, which was a hugely challenging, wonderful experience. And I think how he got his start in not only project development, but his passion for sustainability in all its forms. And I just want to close by saying it's been a pleasure for me to work with John for the last couple of decades. We work closely together, and I appreciate John both as a colleague and a friend. So with that, I'll turn it over to John Metras.
All right, thanks, Andrew, for that very nice introduction. It's really wonderful to be here and to see so many familiar faces from around campus. So I'm just going to share my screen here and bring up a PowerPoint presentation that I've done, and I'm hopeful that some of it will be new to many of you. Some of you will have seen this, some of the slides before. How's that? Is that showing up well for everybody? Awesome. Okay. So the virtual hot lunch. My hot lunch really is virtual today. It's a cold sandwich waiting for later. This is a great opportunity to share some I guess some information on UBC facilities, what we're all about, what we do, and some of the current activities and initiatives that are underway, including a kind of a holiday slideshow of projects that we've got underway, which I think everyone likes to see. So just beginning with a bit of an overview of what UBC Facilities is. So it's relatively new. We basically came together as a facilities group about 3 years ago. And really the idea is to provide life cycle stewardship of the university's physical assets, really to create a great physical environment for learning, research, and campus life at UBC. That's our focus. And as Andrew said, we're comprised of 3 groups. Infrastructure development, Jennifer Sanguinetti's team that does all of the capital planning, facilities planning, and capital project development for all the UBC campuses, so both on the Vancouver campus and the Okanagan campus. And working really closely with UBC Properties Trust, who we engage to manage design and construction of some of the larger new building projects, as well as partnering with campus and community planning, who do the land use planning, the policy planning around sustainability, and issue all of the development and building permits for our projects. So a very important partner for us. And then, of course, building operations. Everyone knows building operations. We're so active on campus, managing the operations and maintenance of all the campus buildings, the public realm, vehicle fleets. We have a huge in-house workforce, about 750 staff who clean the buildings, maintain building systems, and look after the campus grounds to keep them safe for the community. And then energy and water services, who manage our utility systems on campus, the district energy system, and real champions and drivers for energy savings and GHG reduction on campus. They have a very strong focus on that. Dave Woodson and his team do a great job at identifying opportunities to help UBC achieve its sustainability goals around energy and GHG reduction. So to give you a quick overview of the campus, the quick facts here, we do have two beautiful campuses, Vancouver and in Kelowna. You can just get a sense of the scale here in terms of the number of buildings and the types of buildings. Almost 17 million square feet of building area on the Vancouver campus. I think the significant stat here, though, is the amount of new buildings that we've developed over the last 10 years. So 3 million square feet of net new building space approximately. Similarly in the Okanagan, while it's a smaller campus, it's grown significantly over the last 10 years. And there are a number of significant projects that are in the works for the Okanagan as well as the Vancouver campus. So what are we working on in facilities this year? Those of you in facilities may have seen this slide already. I don't want to read off all the bullet points here, but it was really just to give you a sense of the areas that we focus on. Aligned, you can see the 4 broad areas of inspiring great people, providing inspiring spaces, deliver on systems renewal, and lead operational excellence. Those strategic areas come directly from the Vice President, Finance and Operations strategic plan, which flow from the UBC strategic plan. So Peter Smales, VP of Finance and Operations, has developed this framework, and we're working within it. So some of the key things that we're focused on, obviously the health, wellness, and safety of our team is particularly important at this time, given COVID. So focusing on this really helps our team focus on the health, wellness, and safety of the campus community, which is vitally important. We have a strong focus right now on equity, diversity, and inclusion, trying to raise the awareness in our team. We've got a substantial training program that we have planned to roll out over this year in this important area. Similarly, to help support our team to be their best possible selves and in their careers and in their work at UBC, a performance development program where we're rolling out a program where we're able to have conversations with all our staff about their work at UBC and how we can best support them in their roles. Providing inspiring spaces. So you see this all the time in terms of the construction activity on campus. Over the last 20 years, we've done a significant amount of work, and we're continuously planning and assessing our space requirements, our infrastructure requirements, and developing a 5-year capital plan that we provide to the provincial government each year in order to hopefully obtain funding support for projects. And our planning team is really engaged in various key initiatives that are underway. The President's Academic Excellence Initiative being one, the future of work. What is work going to look like based on the lessons learned from COVID in terms of online learning and remote work? Seismic upgrade program continues, and of course, development of key capital projects. In the area of systems renewal, we've been doing a lot. Of course, everybody's been involved with the Workday implementation. In facilities, we've been also focused on our Enterprise Maintenance Management System, EMMS, the plan-on system, which went live on November 1st, along with Workday. We still have some more work to do on that system, both additional components to be implemented, addressing some of the deficiencies and issues from the original implementation, and then looking for ways to use both systems, Plan On and Workday, to optimize processes and enhance service to the campus community, which is really the end goal there. And then finally, operational excellence. We're always looking for ways to improve our operation. We have a number of initiatives underway this year in that area. You know, we need to look for ways to achieve budget savings. The university does have significant financial challenges right now as a result of COVID. And so we're looking for ways that we can streamline our operation and our effectiveness. And then finally, the climate action plan. We all know this is a significant priority for the university. We declared a climate emergency late last year, and they're doing a significant amount of work in collaboration with campus and community planning and others on campus to try to address this really important area. All right, so that's what's happening. In terms of capital projects, which is always sort of the fun and visible area, we do have, ongoing work continuing on major projects on both campuses. You can see 9 major building projects currently in design or construction, a significant investment. Construction has been one area that we've been able to continue with during COVID. There've obviously been safety protocols and restrictions in place on construction sites, but we've been largely moving forward unimpeded with our construction projects. We do a lot of ongoing work in our routine capital program, $50 million investment each year, 3/4 of which is funded by the provincial government to do various upgrades to building systems, in some cases whole building renewal projects as well. And we also have our funds from the infrastructure impact charges. These are charges applied to campus market housing developments and to a lesser degree on ancillary projects like student housing projects. We use those funds to help deal with essentially the impacts of growth, so upgrading utility systems in the public realm to accommodate a growing campus. So I'll share with you some of the projects that we have recently completed and some of the projects that we have underway. So this year, while everyone was largely working from home, the work continued. We completed a number of interesting projects across a sort of a wide spectrum of different applications. So the Kenny 4th floor renovation for psychology to support increased research, to support new research chairs coming into psychology. The Neuroimaging Center in the Center for Brain Health, significant new research infrastructure in that facility. That was a really challenging project to fit some very sophisticated equipment into the basement of the Javad Malifagian Center for Brain Health with support from Charles P. Fipke. We were very fortunate to have that donation to help support that project. Many of you will have seen the beautiful new upgrades on West Mall, much needed upgrades. For those of you who remember the alligator pavement at the corner of U Boulevard and Westbrook Mall, it's all better now. So we've done some great upgrades. Campus and community planning really led the charge on this to provide better infrastructure for public transit and for cycling along Westbrook Mall. The new McInnes Field, hopefully you've had a chance to walk across that beautiful new expansive field just to the east of the Nest. It sits on top of the university lot, as we call it. So there's a parking structure and parking spaces underneath the field. UBCO, the Skeena residence. This is a passive house project, so highly energy efficient student residence in the Okanagan. And Andrew played a really great part in getting provincial financing support for the project. So well done, Andrew. Another VP Students project, the Counseling Service Annex. This is a temporary facility for counseling services over near Brock Hall. It's quite a beautiful facility for a modular building. Projects currently in construction, a number of residence projects on both campuses, the Chatco residence and dining commons on the Okanagan campus. which is scheduled to be completed later this year. As is the Pacific residence, the first buildings of this project will be completed in September, hopefully just in time for students to come back. Although if we get delayed a little bit in that, we'll be ready for January of 2022 with this new residence, which is right on the perimeter of the Walter Gage residence at Student Union Boulevard and Westbrook Mall. We're continuing to do renewal projects on existing buildings, the McLeod building for electrical and computer engineering, doing seismic upgrades in this project, which are, a critical program for us is to upgrade buildings to the latest seismic performance standards. And then we've got the Arts Student Center, a very interesting circular building located just to the south of Allard Hall. And so that's under construction as well. You can see the steel structure there. It looks a little bit like a big tank, but it's going to be a pretty cool looking building. There was a neat, you can see the circular piece here. This is the interior of the Art Student Center. It kind of looks like the Guggenheim Gallery in New York. Pretty cool. Moving on, so a couple of, or 4 other projects under construction, some utilities projects, a bioenergy facility expansion. This is a really important project for our climate action plan. It will help us get to about 62% GHG reduction over 2007 levels when it's completed. So this is a significant milestone for us to get this project up and running. Similarly, we have for energy and water services a new water pump station. The old pump station was in the basement of the old powerhouse, which you may remember, an old 1924 building, one of the original buildings on campus. Not the safest place from a seismic risk perspective to put critical infrastructure on campus. So we've got this kind of cool looking new building right right beside the Henry Angus building on University Boulevard. Off-campus work at Robson Square, renovations to that facility, which we're really excited about. And then, of course, the Great Hall, Museum of Anthropology Great Hall seismic upgrades. They've just started initial site work there, and we're hoping to have construction underway later this year. And then a whole bunch of projects in design right now. Some really important academic facilities. We do have significant space constraints on campus right now, and we're really looking forward to having these facilities online to help with that and to allow for expansion of faculty and increased research activity in the School of Biomedical Engineering building on University Boulevard, the Gateway Health building right at the gateway to campus for nursing, kinesiology, UBC Health, and an integrated student health services center, which will be a first for UBC, having all the student health groups together in one place. Brock Commons Phase 2, mixed use student residence and academic facility. So currently this project is on hold because of COVID. We're about to go for our final board approval stage in the spring, but we held off. So we're just trying to figure out the best timing to recommence that project. We have an interesting project in downtown Kelowna. UBC Properties Trust is leading this one, partnering with the city of Kelowna and with a private developer in Kelowna to develop about 80,000 square feet of academic space within a larger residential development. So that's quite an exciting project for the Okanagan campus, which is a little bit away from downtown Kelowna. So having this opportunity here is significant for them. And then a couple other, another project on the Okanagan campus itself, the ICI building. If we thought our space was constrained on the Vancouver campus, it's twice as bad on the Okanagan campus. There's real challenges there because of the rapid growth. And so this is a much needed new academic facility. And the team at the Okanagan has really done a great job in working together to try to accommodate as many of the faculties up there as possible. The deans have really collaborated well on this project. And then finally, the new recreation center just to the north of the UBC Life building. This is partially funded by student fees, so much needed indoor recreation center for students on campus. So that's it for the holiday slideshow of capital projects, which I know everyone loves. I just wanted to end with a few questions that we're thinking about based on our experience with COVID and online learning and remote work. Just some questions we're thinking about, you know, how will campus space, design, and operations change as a result of COVID? So, you know, will teaching and learning change, and will it change to the degree that it changes the spaces that are required? How will a shift toward more remote working affect office space needs for faculty and staff? A really big question. Is there an opportunity to go to a more open office concept, shared office space concept on campus to help alleviate some of our space challenges, but also provide an opportunity for greater collaboration? And so I would be interested, you know, in your thoughts about that. You know, what do you feel about future space needs on campus? And, you know, are there opportunities to change the way we think about how we use and operate our spaces on campus? So that's, I think that covers it. Hopefully this will spark some interesting discussion in the breakout groups, and look forward to answering any questions that you may have. I know there was some that were sent in beforehand, and so I'll cover those, but there may be some others as well. So thanks very much. It was a real pleasure to come and chat with you a little bit about facilities at UBC.
John, thank you very much. That's awesome. I think it will spur some conversation for sure. And love the show and tell. I know everybody loves those, and the projects that are happening. The diversity of those projects are amazing when you think about it. There's public realm projects, there's housing projects, there's recreation projects, and academic projects. So never a dull moment for John and his team when it comes to supporting and managing those projects. And the scope and scale of your operations, you know, just around the daily operating of the campus as well, is huge. So thanks for sharing all that. I really enjoyed those last questions. I think probably everybody on this call and many others are thinking about, you know, what is the future of the workplace going to look like? What's the future of education going to look like coming out of COVID? And what can we learn from this time that actually makes what we do better in the future? And I think we have some opportunities there as well. So thanks for posing those questions. Welcome back. That was enjoyable. I enjoyed my session. We had a great conversation, so I hope you all did as well. We largely went off script, but we did talk a bit about our favorite places on campus as well. So it was a great conversation. Thanks to the gang in my breakout room. Okay, is John back on?
I'm back here. Yep.
Okay, hi John. Oh, there you are. Good. You're on my page here. Now we have a bit of an opportunity here from John in terms of some of the questions that were asked in advance. So thanks to folks who submitted a question as part of your registration. I think there was a note in the chat that if you have a question that emerges, throw it up there. We'll see if we can get to it. We have about, looks like I think we have about 15 minutes or so. So let's get right to it. And John, I'll start with a nice easy question for you to get the juices flowing. What's your favorite part of your job? What do you enjoy the most in your day?
Well, you know what, I really enjoyed being able to work with just with the wonderful community of, you know, staff and faculty and students from across the campuses on, you know, on a diverse range of different opportunities and challenges and projects. You know, whether it's a new building project or whether it's a, you know, an operational improvement initiative, i.e. someone has a problem with one of their facilities and they need us to fix it, you know, or a living lab project, or, you know, space needs for different groups, or, you know, trying to figure out the safety and operational approach to research resumption during COVID. We're always working with the campus community. I guess, you know, space and facilities are, common to us all, right? It really takes a village to create and maintain great space. So I just love that, and I'm fortunate to have a really great team and facilities who, are really innovative and creative about how they approach, different projects and problems and opportunities on campus. So hopefully that gives you an idea. I just like working with the great people on campus.
You mentioned the word village. I would say UBC, when you, on the Vancouver campus in particular, but when you combine the two campuses, is more than a village. It's actually a small city that you have infrastructure responsibility for.
True.
Actually, a question more focused on the Okanagan. What is UBC's strategy with expanding its capital project footprint off campus, a la the downtown Kelowna project? Will we see more of that happening in Vancouver possibly?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And, we've been working on a strategy for off-campus expansion. There's still a lot of work to be done on it, but we clearly see the opportunities for engagement with the community. And there's certain programs that are really well suited to being integrated, like with local partners. And I think of the health authorities and our different health programs, whether it's nursing or whether it's occupational therapy and physical therapy medicine. Some real opportunities there. In fact, we're looking at one right now for physical therapy and occupational therapy in Surrey. And so there's a potential to expand that program in partnership with Fraser Health. And so we're currently working with medicine on that. We'll see where that goes, but it may provide kind of an initial kind of footprint for UBC in that community that we could grow on over time. As we do have other faculties that are interested in pushing out into the community. Surrey has been identified as an area that is quite attractive given the growing population. Soon it will be the largest municipality in British Columbia. And so that's an area that we're looking at. And of course, we're looking at, other opportunities, Robson Square. You saw that we're doing renovations down there, and we're always thinking about how we can expand our presence downtown. One thing that, I think it's important to point out with off-campus presence, UBC has a huge presence off campus, but it's a little bit invisible in a way. Like you think about all of the different, locations. There's the downtown Kelowna, which is, currently under design. But we have the Robson Square, the Learning Exchange in the downtown east side. I'm just trying to think of some of the others. The Indigenous Community Legal Clinic, Great Northern Way, where we have the Masters of Digital Media program in partnership with the other institutions there. There's the Research Forests, Malcolm Knapp and Alex Fraser. We have, and we have a huge presence in the health authorities. Massive. Faculty of Medicine is basically in pretty much all the hospitals in the province. So, but we need to do more in that area, and so it's definitely a focus.
Those research facilities out and around the province are really interesting, and there's way more than I think probably any of us realize. And you were involved in a project to build some residents, I think, at a research dairy farm.
Right. Oh, I forgot about the Agassiz Dairy Research Center. Of course, how could I forget that? Yeah, we've some of our finest residences out there in Agassiz.
Hey.
Very nice facility out there. I mean, for the researchers that are working at that center. We have a really nice new facility that's just been developed near Soyuz for our geological field school. So we have students in geological sciences who go out every year to study in the field, and we've created a nice facility for them, which is basically, a central cookhouse and meeting area, plus some, I think we made platforms so they could pitch their tents comfortably out in the field. So anyway, it was kind of a budget project, I guess, but it was really interesting one in an unusual location, out in the field.
Not surprising, there's a number of questions and a lot of interest in sustainability and the work that you do in that field. So one of those questions is about Living Lab, and what is the Living Lab project that you're most proud of, or that had the most impact?
Well, that's a loaded question. I'm going to get in trouble, I'm sure, with this answer if because we've done so many great projects. You know, I probably talk the most about the Brock Commons Tall Wood project. Just given
Good answer,
the
John.
fact
Good
that
answer.
I was, you know, you and I were very closely involved in that project, and so that one, you know, I mean, it was a fascinating project, just given the lessons that we learned about, you know, the approach to construction, the use of sustainable building materials, you know, just the innovation that went into developing that building. We learned a lot from it. So I'm really pleased with how that project worked out. But there are many other projects, you know, that I'm equally delighted with. The bioenergy research and demonstration facility was an outstanding project that, you know, it started out as a, you know, really as a research partnership between Applied Sciences, ourselves, and Nextera, as well as GE Energy. So interesting Living Lab project, but it's really now become a core facility for us to provide heat for the campus. So that worked out really well. The SIRS building, which everybody knows, that's a Living Lab project. That's got lots of innovative technologies that we've learned a lot from over the years. What I'm really proud of right now, though, is the recent Campuses of the Living Lab Fund competition that we just completed. And so this is the first year we've done like a real research competition for projects. And Angelique Pilon and the University's Sustainability Initiative managed that competition, and she did a really great job. And we just selected, I'm trying to remember, four projects for that. And really outstanding projects, a real broad range of different projects that we've got coming up. So I'm excited about that.
I think thanks for raising that. That I was, you know, on the periphery involved in that as well, and I think it was an excellent process. But more importantly, the thing for Living Lab for me is this integration of research and operations, and the huge value that gives across the spectrum. You know, the research value is magnificent, and then we get to realize the benefits with projects and things on campus. It's a really great initiative for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. Carbon neutrality is the next question. How does UBC plan to accomplish its goal to be carbon neutral by 2030? And what does UBC's energy generation future look like? Whew. These are big questions.
Yeah, that is a big question, and it's a big fun problem to work on, and we're working on that right now in partnership with many stakeholders on campus, including campus and community planning, who are leading the development of an updated climate action plan for the university. And as part of that, we're going to be embarking on technical work to assess the best way to achieve our GHG reduction goals. And really what we're trying to do, we're targeting a 75 to 100% reduction in GHG emissions by 2030, which is really aggressive. As I indicated previously, the bioenergy facility expansion will get us to about 62% reduction. But the rest of the way is more challenging. And so we're trying to develop that roadmap. You know, it's probably going to be a combination of different things, with the primary focus being on decarbonizing the campus district energy system. And so there's a number of opportunities there, whether it's renewable natural gas, utilization of hydrogen in the natural gas. We could generate our own hydrogen on campus and use it on campus. Electrification of the system using large-scale heat pumps is a possibility. We've talked about the potential for large-scale geo-exchange. And then to kind of get the final, you know, percentage reduction, because electricity, even though we view it as net zero, it actually does have a carbon footprint. And so, you know, to get the final way there in terms of reductions to 100%, we probably have to have some kind of a carbon capture technology used. So there's a wide range of different technologies. But one thing I wanted to point out is that, you know, the GHG emissions from campus operations themselves, from heating the campus and from the vehicle fleet and other things, it's about, you know, 29% of our overall GHG footprint, and the remaining 71% are these they call scope 3 impacts. So it's things like commuting, air travel, food systems, material, that kind of thing, that we've got to focus on as well. So it's not just about the campus energy system, it's about a whole range of things. And that's what the Carbon Action Plan will address.
Great. It's also not, doesn't all fall on John's shoulders. It's a it's a campus-wide initiative, and actually everybody that's on this call and everybody that works at UBC has a role to play in this regard too. So
absolutely.
I think we're nearing time, so sorry to those that asked questions that we didn't get to. Just an issue of time. So let me just close by first of all thanking John very much for his time and energy and for the outstanding presentation and talk. So let's give John a virtual applause. Yeah, there we go. I also just want to thank, as usual, Human Resources and for the support on this initiative. Human HR does help to fund this, and typically that means funding the lunch that we'll hopefully be able to enjoy again in future.